Okay, guys. We're going to eventually get to CIS Rejects versus Power Rangers, which is going to be the next set of the day from the GameShow Global Esports Cup. Unfortunately, I think the last patch may have broken my game, since I'm sure you guys can see it right now. Hit reconnect, and we'll see if we can reconnect. And hopefully I will be able to, but either way, I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Daneliecasts for this second match rather. Hopefully you're in. Hopefully everyone else is in also.
Yes, I'm in. I just wanted to make sure if the audio is okay because I have to change mic settings. Is it all right, or
Oh
is it
no,
a
we're
little
good to go.
quiet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right then. Is there
Alright,
anything
and it
else
also
concerned?
seems like I'm in, and it seems like everyone's in, so,
And
crash
the
bug, not
games
really fixed, kind of fixed, maybe fixed, who knows.
we might have to remake, maybe.
Really?
If the
I'm,
countdown expires, the game's
I mean, it's
probably just
paused, right? The
going.
game is paused right now, so,
Oh,
there we go.
oh, all right then.
Eh, There we go, so we're good to go. Alright, we're gonna have Power Rangers going up against CIS Rejects, and I believe CIS Rejects just took a match rather, 2-0 over BRM. Power Rangers also, I think, won versus New Team, although I wasn't watching that one. That was on the third Russian stream, and my games were going concurrent to that. So I don't know how these two teams are feeling, but I do think CIS Rejects probably have a couple more wins under their belt than Power Rangers, if only slightly.
Now, this is a best of two series. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Yes? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so people that have just tuned in, if you don't understand the format, these teams are playing in a best of two format. So if you manage to win two games, you get 3 points, whereas if it's a draw, it's 1 point for each team. So getting a 2-0 victory is very crucial for both teams because it's still very early. You want to secure as many points now so that you definitely will secure your position in the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
So has CIS won a 2-0?
10 seconds.
Yes, they have won at least 1-2-0. I'm gonna try to find like a entire scoreboard or something, although I'm not really sure if there is one that we can access right now. I'm pretty sure CIS Reject should be near the top, if not at the top. So they're doing pretty well for themselves, and we're about halfway through this group stage kind of format, so as long as they keep true, they should be able to get a couple more points. I would say up against Power Rangers, at worst for CIS Rejects, they would get 1 point. Like, I could very easily see this going 1-1, but it's also very possible that they split, or they take it 2-0 CIS Rejects. They're just that much so on point. But we have a draft, and let's see what we're going to see. Darkseer should be the first pick right now because it's Darkseer, but, you know, Doom getting banned out, Winter Wyvern, Io, along with that Shadow Fiend. We've been seeing a lot of Doom banned out. We've been seeing a little bit more Io play as well, simply because he is that consistent, unchanged hero from the last couple patches.
Yeah, I'm very surprised about the Doom ban. What brought out this hero? Is it just between these two teams? Have we been seeing this hero rise
He's
in
been
general?
he's been played a lot because of the buffs to his Scorched Earth. Like, it is very, very difficult to bring him down, and aside from that, Doom is always Doom. He just, you know, just dooms someone like a Queen of Pain or like a Lena, and then they're just completely screwed in that fight. They can actually just do nothing. He's been seeing a lot of play, and it's, I think, a little bit of an overreaction to first ban, but I do also think he's very powerful, and he may actually get to that staple first ban spot in, you know, a month or two, or a couple weeks, or something like that. But aside from that, CS React going to grab their Shaker along with that Darkseer, going to be a support Shaker, and Arcade Power Rangers going to grab a Lena and Queen of Pain as their opener, so probably a support Lena, probably a mid-quap.
But still, it's a powerhouse duo though. These heroes, they produce a lot of damage output, so I'm expecting a hyper-aggressive draft by Power Rangers simply because they pick up these heroes. Queen of Pain is very strong during the early to mid game, but towards the late game, she starts to really fall off, and I've never seen a Queen of Pain recover as a right-clicker in the late game. So I'm expecting them to try and finish the game probably pre-40-50 minutes before CIS Rejects can come out into the late game with that Darkseer, because you can never underestimate that wall of replica. Just get that beautiful wall, have the the Earthshaker follow up with an Echo Slam and everything. Just keep them locked in place because they are running a very, very squishy draft. So for Power Rangers, it's going to be exclusively position based. If they can watch their positioning, just tear CIS Rejects apart little by little in the fights, then I can definitely see them taking this game early. Whereas I look at CIS's heroes, they have a lot of counter initiation, and especially when they get those items, it gets so much easier.
The Rubik Lena combo is certainly very nice, and it is going to help Power Rangers get a couple of kills, but as you said, the counter initiation, just having a Shaker in the game is going to make it difficult for Power Rangers to get their combos off when they want. And Power Rangers are maybe even looking to be spellcasting heavy enough so that CS Rejects are going to be wanting to grab a Silencer here. In fact, Silencer for both sides seems fairly reasonable. Like CS Rejects going with the Wombo combo, Vacuum Wall, Echo Slam, Vacuum Wall Shaker with any sort of follow-up on top, and a Silencer can jam up that combo really hard. So eyes open for that one. Not sure if it's going to necessarily fit into the Power Rangers draft. Definitely fits in a little bit more with what CS Rejects have right now, but keep your eyes open for that. Aside from those, got a lot of offlane heroes being banned out. Tusk is still available for Power Rangers, and they probably will want to pick that one up as Clockwork, Darkseer, Brood, Doom, I guess Ogre Magi, Night Stalker still in the pool. I'm actually very surprised to see Night Stalker still in. Usually he's banned out or picked up by now.
Is there a chance that Power Rangers decides to pick up an Ogre Magi for themselves? Because they could potentially put this Queen of Pain in the off lane, Lina in the mid role. Then that means you open up that safe lane for a carry, which can bring them into the late game. And with an Ogre Magi's Bloodlust, I would like to see that. But they need something that's also going to be relatively tanky, because they've got a very papery draft already. They need something to absorb the damage, plus bring them some late game potential.
I wouldn't mind it that much. I mean, I always love me some Ogre Magi, but the more important thing than the Ogre, perhaps, is to get a carry who can actually provide the damage output scaling to late game. If you're going to have Lina and Queen of Pain and then a low damage offlane hero or something like that, then you really do have only like 30 effective minutes in the game before you start to really fall off. And Ogre Magi doesn't really help it too much. I mean, he does do a decent amount of damage. Bloodlust certainly helps, but it's not going to be the end-all. So if they are going to plan on going for an Ogre Magi, they need to get like a Phantom Lancer or an Anti-Mage or one of those types of heroes first, I think. For CS Rejects, though, it's going to be a Razor, so going to grab that generally pretty safe hero, and seems like an awkward place for a Razor for right now, especially up against a likely Queen of Pain matchup in mid. Static Link doesn't do a whole ton. They did take a lot of time to decide upon this pick, and I'm not really sure if it's great right here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised they picked it up as well. It's so early that if Power Rangers wanted to, they could have gone for a full mobile draft, such as this anti-mage pick, to nullify the effect of Razor, because what does he do best? He just static links, he steals damage, and he also reduces armor with Eye of the Storm. But with an Anti-Mage and Queen of Pain on the block, it's not going to be easy for them to lock them down. And they only have an Earthshaker, and you could also count the Vacuum as disables to keep them in place, but it's not enough to really hold them in place to burst it down. Because you look at their burst potential, it's not that much burst. They need burst damage for their next two picks. They need another support, and they also need a safe lane carry, but you don't normally see safe lane carries have that high damage output early on.
Yeah, very rarely do you ever have that. It's not possible to see CIS Rejects try to turtle this game out. Grab someone like a Spectre and then just out late game, because Spectre versus Anti-Mage late game is, not the most imbalanced there, but it is typically Spectre favored. Got a Disruptor now for CS Rejects. This is the crowd control effect that they really needed. The Glimpse back after a blink out from Anti-Mage or Queen of Pain. Obviously Glimpse versus everyone is pretty good, but Static Storm on top of these heroes as well. And CS Rejects are actually pretty well set up, probably, or maybe considering, a Naga Siren as the last pick, a core Naga Siren for CIS Rejects, getting additional setup for the Disruptor. Power Rangers, if they're allowed to play their heavy mobility, heavy get in and get out game, then CIS Rejects may struggle to fight up against that evenly.
Yeah, my main concern for CIS Rejects, though, is that they have a lot of pick-off potential, but when it comes to damage, they don't have anything that's just supposed to do damage on the spot. They have a lot of damage over time, which is great. If a fight happens for a very long time and you survive, then you're going to be able to slowly peel off these heroes from Power Rangers. But if the fights are quick, which you look at their playstyle and it's going to be, how are they going to finalize this draft? Because they just don't have that. They don't have that team fight that I see that you could say Power Rangers has. Not team fight, just pickoffs.
I mean, maybe it's going to come down to a Razor safe lane, and they're going to grab another mid hero to try to be a little bit more active. Razor safe lane typically isn't my favorite, but for Power Rangers, man, I read them perfectly, and seems like I read CIS Rejects too. Tusk was eventually picked up for Power Rangers, most likely for the off lane. Anti-Mage is just their safe late game hero. And for CIS Rejects, right now with the Spectre pickup, it's all shields up. The problem with the Spectre is that she doesn't really do that much early on, and she's in an environment with her allies where Disruptor, Earthshaker don't really do a lot of damage. Darkseer maybe will do some damage, Razor as well, but up against like the mobility of Power Rangers, Static Link is far from a sure thing. So we may see the Spectre get absolutely crushed in the early stages. I mean, you would assume an Anti-Mage defensive tri-lane a defensive tri-lane fact from both sides, but Anti-Mage can get online a little bit faster than the Spectre with minimal help from his supports, because the supports and Power Rangers, or the 4 other heroes from Power Rangers, are inherently more aggressive.
Yeah, so we'll see how this plays out for both sides, who manages to execute their draft a little bit more successfully than their opponents. So I'll start off with CIS Rejects, who will be playing on the Dire side. We have KS handling our Spectre. We need to see how this Spectre's going to play out, because as Mike has mentioned, she doesn't really provide anything for the team. So let's see if we can get the farm, if they can make space for him. Vanscore on the Disruptor, Iceberg on our Razor. In towards the mid lane, we've got Always Wanna Fly on our Earthshaker, and then the off lane where we've got Gorats playing on the Darkseer.
For Power Rangers, Tron is going to be handling the Anti-Mage down towards bottom lane, seeing him whip up a storm of gold in the past. Axmo is on the Queen of Pain, Bignum is on the Rubik along with J4 on the Lena. Up towards top lane, Cheshire Cat playing the Tusk has already placed down a pretty defensive Observer Ward, so he's going to try to keep himself alive. But yeah, this Rubik and Lena is a pretty devastating roam combination, even though Razor typically is one of the more survivable mid heroes. Versus Queen of Pain, he's already going to take quite a bit of chip damage. That's pretty much a given for any hero up against Quap. And the rotations from Bignum and J4 is going to be something that CS Rejects really have to be careful of. Always Wanna Fly, he does have boots on the Shaker, so that is definitely going to help him be in all the places that he needs to be in order to throw those defensive fissures. But if he slips up, if he's not there, anyone who gets lifted up may very well go down given the burst combo and the lockdown duration of these two heroes. So for the first, 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes of the game, you would expect Power Rangers to have these lanes a lot more pressured on the CS Rejects end than vice versa.
So what are your thoughts about keeping Flight in the mid lane on the Earthshaker just to babysit the Razor till he gets his initial levels? Because I feel like this Razor is playing a very big role in keeping the game on even footing for the Spectre to come online. And if he dies, you can't fall back on just the Darkseer, because the Darkseer needs an absurd amount of farm himself.
I feel like that is probably a necessity at this stage. Like you mentioned, the Razor has to keep the Spectre alive. For the first 20 minutes in the game, the Spectre can get shut down. Like, that is permissible by CS Reject as long as Iceberg is having a good time. Because if the Razor is having a bad time, then just no one's going to have a good time for CIS Rejects. They lack the damage, they lack the lockdown, the mid-game type hero so that the Spectre can get that farm. So they really need to protect Iceberg, almost more importantly than protecting their Spectre, who is probably just going to be going toe-to-toe versus the Tusk in, for the most part, a 1v0 lane, so the Spectre should be fine up on top. Shaker is probably just allowed to, therefore, stick in the mid lane. Down towards bottom, though, Gorats, he's going up against this tri-lane for right now. He's already put a lot of damage into Tron. It's not going to stick because of Tangos and Salve, but Gorats has got to be careful not to get too comfortable in this lane. A lift up into an LSA, into a little bit of mana break, and this Darkseer is very vulnerable here.
Yeah, and he's also up against 2 range supports with a lot of lockdown when they get the combo off. So, as you said, he has to be careful. If he gets caught out, I feel that for him, he can try and stay in the offlane role, but if he dies too many times, it's not going to be beneficial enough for him. Just rotating straight into the jungle will be his best bet. But if he can put this pressure onto onto the anti-mage for a couple of minutes, then that's absolutely fine. It'll be helping out the Spectre because it means that Spectre should be getting more CS, although he is behind by 1, surprisingly enough. I'm not too sure how that's happened. You would have expected Spectre to have a little bit better of a time when it comes to CS.
I think they just lost control of the lane for a little bit. They're going to get the pull on the side, so they're going to deny a little bit of experience to Cheshire Cat and get Chaos back under his tower. He has a Quelling Blade, so he should, for the most part, be last hitting properly. And Spectre will get there. And as I say that, of course, he just misses like 3 CS in a row. But that's fine. He'll get them later, I'm sure. I will just look away, and therefore he will not feel the pressure of my stares. Over towards mid lane, Axmo 5-1 versus Iceberg 5-3. Right now we have a very low CS game. It's 2 minutes in and the highest CSer is Razor with like 9 kills on creeps. That's remarkably low right now, but we can already see Iceberg struggling to deal with this Queen of Pain. Whenever he starts the static link, he gets like 10, 15 damage off max, and Axmo just straight blinks out. And for Iceberg, you really do want that extra damage to try to lock down this lane. He's probably not going to die to Axmo anytime soon, but at the same time, even with Earthshaker coming in with a fissure, they can't kill off this Queen of Pain in time. They just don't have enough damage. Now bottom lane, Gorats is completely out of mana. He's going to get lifted up by Bignum. LSA is waiting for him. He's out of mana, so he's not taking that much damage from the Anti-Mage, but still 3 heroes right-clicking with the body blocks from the illusions. Maybe enough to get this kill, and it will be. Anti-Mage draws first blood. Very well played there by Power Rangers.
Beautiful play. If the illusions weren't there, I don't actually think they would have been able to kill the Darkseer, just because he's pretty tanky for an offlaner, but still, A reward for our safe lane on the Radiant side. Up top though, no chance of them really killing a Tusk. Tusk is very difficult to kill, and they just don't have the damage output for it either. I was thinking about this as you were commentating on the Darkseer death. Is there any chance that KS possibly goes back for the combat Spectre build that we used to see, picking up a Vanguard as well as an Urn and just fighting with the team whenever Haunt's off cooldown? I feel like that would be viable this game because they have heroes that, yes, if you had space, you could probably have at least one farming and protecting with 4, but if you can keep the game equilibrium and have the Spectre get farmed through kills, not just CSing, and not having her sitting there like a duck, maybe that could work out as well. But she would also be putting her at risk of dying.
I don't really think the combat build is really something you ever want to be going as Spectre. You have to be really pushed to the limits as a team, like severely outdrafted in the early stages, like up against an Undying and a Jakiro or something like that to go for that combat build. Right now, she's getting quite a bit of experience and a decent amount of last hits. CIS rejects can make action happen around the map with the Darkseer, with the Razor, and then just have the Spectre swoop in with just the Haunt and get those kills. We already see the defensive alteration in the build here from KS, going for 2 points into Dispersion in a lane with no opponents. So this is KS prepping to be in those fights a little bit down the line, but I think it's just going to be concession in the skill choice, not items. Iceberg is going to race for the rune. Axmo is going to catch Iceberg completely trapped, actually, with the fissure and shards. You can't leave, but then again, Cheshire, he's just going to walk out of there. It's being stalked by the invisible Shaker, yes, but this Shaker has no threat, so everyone's going to walk away from that one. Spectre, if she just proceeds onward with her build, maybe grabbing Ring of Aquila, maybe an Urn, those early game-ish items that are kind of optional for the Spectre, she should be able to swoop in with the Haunt and at least get a little bit of experience for some of those early fights. Axmo's going to get into a fight over in mid. He's going to lose a little bit of damage. Here comes the ice from Cheshire Cat. He's going to wall off Iceberg. Denied, though, by Shaker. It is so difficult to get denied there with 2 heroes beating down. Shaker doesn't have a ton of damage either. But at the same time, Razor did steal a little bit of damage away from that Quap, so she wasn't doing a lot. So it is still 1-0 in favor of Power Rangers, but Razor, he did die in that mid lane. So that's going to be him not getting experience, whereas the Queen of Pain is crawling closer to that Sonic Wave.
If Axmo just had 200 mana, then he would have been able to dive for Fly, but unfortunate for him, he just sits there watching the Earthshaker, and he's going to look at Iceberg and he says, yes, I can harass you, but with this Earthshaker here, no way in hell am I going to be able to kill you without help. So this is going to be very useful for the Razor, but he still has to be very careful. You can't just rely purely on the Earthshaker. You also have to watch your positioning just to make sure that there's no way that they can catch you at any particular angle. Now, for Iceberg, is it just going to be the traditional mech build for him, as I would expect, just to help their team fight? Or would it be going onto the Darkseer instead?
Yeah, I think for the Razor, maybe going for Drums, SNY type build, maybe a Ring of Aquila for him, but those early game-based items, those cost-effective stat items, might be preferable, because your Razor is going to have to hold down the fort early on, and as nice as mech is on the Razor, you can probably rely on Goretz to get that mech at around the same time. The Darkseer right now is being shoved out of lane. He's only level 3, but then again, so is the Tusk, so kind of even situation for the offlaners. The Darkseer can jungle and get a mechanism pretty fast for the team if he really wants to, and then you need someone to do damage, because again, CS Rejects don't really have any damaging heroes. Their Shaker and Disruptor combo is nice for utility, but as far as damage output, very, very low until much later in the game. The Razor has to be the one, because the Spectre's sure as hell not going to do it. She's pretty much just working with power treads.
Yeah, but what item aside from Sanjanyasha would you pick up on a Razor though? Because you look at this hero and his toolkit. Oh god, always one up
Shaker's in a lot of trouble. The only escape is through the tower. That's not a good place to be. Cheshire Cat just walled him off since Shaker was already in aggressive position. It's a pretty easy kill there for Power Rangers. Sanjanyasha, maybe. I mean, it really depends on how the game is going at that point, but Shiva's Guard Assault Cuirass, like one of those plate mail items, not too bad. But really just the stat items. Power Treads, first of all. Additional stat items after that. Oh, they're actually looking for Goretz, who's super low, but also just out of ward range. He's going to be fine.
So they're going to go for Iceberg, so it looks like he's going to be just completely rolled over there. Almost missed the stun, but still within range, and they didn't really have to expend much. But then again, though, it was a 3-man rotation into the mid lane to get a kill on the Razor. I like the way they're playing, because they know that the Razor has a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and if you manage to shut him down, then you're also going to be lowering the chances of CIS Rejects being able to protect the Spectre. But KS is still farming really well. He's almost right next to the Anti-Mage, is a little bit ahead, which is what you want from a Spectre. And he's sitting at 1.2k gold. Is this just going to be the standard Radiance build for KS then?
Yeah, it seems like CIS Rejects really have no plans on going aggressive anytime soon. Like, the Razor has a double damage rune, but aside from that, he has nothing. The Darkseer is having a lot of trouble as well, so they're just trying to, I guess, fatten up the hatches and hope to not die. Cheshire Cat, though, is going to find Goretz. Surge already up on the Darkseer, getting beaten down. Sonic Wave over the trees. He's going to get the kill. Here comes Always Wanna Fly. He'll throw a Fissure, already has his totem enchanted. Now here comes the Haunt as well. Dagger onto Cheshire Cat. A couple more right clicks, and Cheshire Cat's going to fall. They glimpse back to Axmo, who has Blink in 2 seconds. I think he will be able to get out of here. Field goes up a little bit late, although it wouldn't have done anything anyway. They make a pretty decent trade, getting KS a little bit of action. That's 1 kill for the Spectre right now, but still for Power Rangers, they're calling the shots, and Tron is still farming on the bottom lane. He has actually a lot of bling on himself, double rings, so maybe Vlad's and Battle Fury being built up at the same time for him. Either way, he's under absolutely no pressure, and an Anti-Mage late game is going to be hit a lot sooner than a Spectre's.
Yeah, I think he just went for the double rings in case he had to go into a lane solo against Goretz, and obviously tanking the Ion Shell damage isn't that great, so it'll just boost up his healing. And also, as you said, he's going to build a Vlad's anyway, so if you just pick it up early, it's not really going to hurt you. It's 350 gold, and it's just going to help him sustain in the lane, so for him, it's no big deal because he's going to be picking up those items anyway. So for now, we've got Axmo sitting in the jungle with quite a bit of gold. No, he actually doesn't have too much. 480 gold. Going to be finishing up those power treads before he goes for his next item pickup. Would you be looking into grabbing an Orchid this game, or could you just go straight for Aghanim? I would like to see Orchid, because you look at the heroes in CIS Rejects, there's a lot of heroes that will be very vulnerable up top there.
Oh, well. Connect onto 2. They're both caught in the field. They're not going anywhere. LSA, though, should be able enough to kill off Always Wanna Fly. Here comes KS. Spectre needs to clean up here. They'll kill off the Lina with the Razor. That's fine, I guess. They get the kill anyway, even 1-for-1 trade. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of even there. But back to what you were mentioning about the Queen of Pain. It looks like it's just going to be a Null Talisman right now. Power Treads completed. Also, I don't know, silencing CIS Reject doesn't really have a ton of value right now. I feel like if Power Rangers get the Battle Fury on Anti-Mage, get an Aghanim Scepter on Queen of Pain, they could just constantly sit on the Spectre. Like, no matter where she is, go and get her with the Sonic Wave. Whereas for Orchid, it's fine, but also when you get Aghanim Scepter, you just don't die up against what CIS Rejects have. They just don't have enough damage to kill off the Queen of Pain, who has a point booster and an Ogre Club's worth of health. So I think just the health aspect might be good enough for Queen of Pain in this game.
That's true. Although, think about it though, right now, he's sitting on almost 1k HP, and he has been nowhere near death already. So, yeah, you could go for the Aghanim Scepter. I don't really think he'll be looking into the HP aspect, but yeah, the 40-second cooldown on the Sonic Wave will be huge. There was a Observer put down just by Fly, and luckily for him, he actually spotted Axmo coming in from around the corner, so he'll be able to live for another day. Although in the meantime, mid lane Iceberg just going north. He's saying, okay, I'm not having any of this, and he'll be rotating into that top lane, into the jungle most likely. He's only got 300, almost 400 gold. He's really not doing too well for farm.
Yeah, both these mid laners are kind of just scrapping up against each other, and it is the safe laners to be the big winners here. The Spectre is closing in on her Relic, and Power Rangers have not really applied any pressure to her. The Spectre's grabbed a couple of kills so far, and again, hasn't really had to worry about too many heroes rotating into her lane. The only time that there were a couple heroes here, the Shaker intercepted them, and that sucks for the Shaker, but it's great for the Spectre to survive that gank. If she can get a really fast Relic Radiance up, then CIS Rejects will just be perfectly equalized. Iceberg's gonna run to Axmo right now. DD Rune on the Queen of Pain at the same time. Snowball going after Goretz. That'll collide and kill off the Darkseer immediately. He's just farming at too low HP. Now they catch Cheshire Cat in the field. It's only level 1 field though, so it's not going to do a ton. Bankscore has vision enough for a glimpse, but Axmo should know that Bankscore's in the area. Wants Spectre though. The DD Rune, he's still going to have a lot of damage. Now up to almost 200 a pop. KS going to try to juke it out. Scream lands. Axmo is going to hit with the Thunder Strike to that. Full vision, but the Sonic Wave is going to catch the Disruptor. Now the Dagger and chase down onto Axmo. He's going to try to Haunt and maybe catch up to him. No. Haunt somewhere else maybe? No, it's just Haunt for damage output, I guess, but it's going to be the Queen of Pain to get out of that top lane scenario. However, KS once again does not die. It's the support to take the bullet. And for CIS Rejects, that's still kind of okay, but we could see they're really struggling to actually do anything in this early game stage.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I'm pretty sure Queen of Pain was glad that he managed to pick up the Disruptor there, because even if he tried to go for the Spectre kill, he wouldn't have had enough damage output, and there's also the chance of him being glimpsed back, which is a scenario that you never want to happen as a Queen of Pain, because obviously you want to get the hell out of anywhere that you are. So Good thing that she managed to grab the kill and also not get counter-jumped by CIS Rejects. 7-2 is the score. How do you feel CIS Rejects are doing so far? Are they doing an alright job? Are they super far behind? Because I'm looking at them and they're not really in that bad of a spot. They've got some decent farm. They have the they have 3 heroes in the top 4 of the CS chart. So to me, they're looking okay.
I mean, if you figure, top lane though, KS in a lot of trouble. Laguna Blade will be deployed plus Walrus Punch. Suddenly not as okay, right? Like, I was gonna say, if you figure the game starts out at a 50-50, like, you know, not even looking at their drafts, I would say right now it's probably 60-40 for Power Rangers, especially after getting that Spectre going to be a little bit more towards their favor. Spectre needs to be able to get this Relic up because no one else in CS Rejects really doing too hot, and Anti-Mage still leading in the net worth. Power Rangers are very well positioned right now, and killing off the Spectre once is a great start. A little late perhaps, but as long as they can prevent her from getting that completed Radiance, they'll be good to go. They're going to also stick around this top lane where they're going to run to Vank score, it seems, or at least Cheshire he'll wait in the wings. 4 heroes coming in total for CS Rejects, always want to fly, leading with the Fissure, will miss. Now Vank score in a bad place. He's going to get hit with the Snowball Walrus Punch. He's going to drop the Static Storm, however, and Cheshire is going to get the kill anyway. Echo Slam will make an even 1-1. But it's, you know, it's fine, I suppose, for both sides. Neither of these two heroes worth a ton. Minor gold lead for CS Rejects there, but pretty much negligible. Still, this Spectre needs to get those kills, and she had the Haunt, I think, but just didn't decide to use it.
I think he was just saving it, honestly, because that fight was done and dusted anyway. Even though you throw the Haunt, there's a very low chance of securing a kill. I like what he did, just holding on to the Haunt, so that if another team fight ensures, then at least he's going to be there for the KS, haha, if necessary. So there's no issues with him not using the Haunt there, because you have to keep in mind there's a pretty long cooldown on it, 2-minute cooldowns. If you use it incorrectly, then it could go wrong. So for the moment, are we seeing any big item pickups? We've got the Battle Fury that's almost online for the Anti-Mage. On our Queen of Painter is going to be a Orchid.
Well, just blow the enemy heroes up, kill one off, and then watch as the rest of them struggle with no damage. It maybe will be enough to kill off a Razor. Queen of Pain maybe +1, like either Tusk or Lena or something like that. With the Orchid amplification, you can definitely do that, and without a Razor, CS Rejects won't be able to fight. They are actually prepping for top lane. J4 has no tower, just got rid of it himself, and now the dive in with the Surge and Ion Shell. Plasma Fields is going to not get the kill, actually. Spectre is able to get the last hit. That's going to give her her Relic. And, well, she should be able to pick that one up without too much of an issue. So that's a big kill up towards top, but at the same time, Luna did get the tower denied, and that hurts a lot for the CS Reject side. They're hurting for cash. Tron, he's going to glimpse back right after he blinks. Stuck in the Static Storm now. He's going to try to TP. Sonic Wave is going to cut through 3, but the Anti-Mage is already dead. Axmo still sticking around with the Haste Rune, is going to get out of there. Tower now conversely denied on the CS Rejects end of thing, but here comes Snowball onto KS. He needs to buy his Relic right now. He's at 2 HP. He's going to slip out of the field, but he will go down. He buys the Recipe. Yeah, for Spectre, that's not what you want to be doing. It is a kill on the Anti-Mage, which is great for CS Rejects. They get the tower denied, they get the kill on the Tusk, but the Courier just not at the side shop in time, and Spectre is now still without her Relic. She could have slid over to the enemy secret shop when she was on the top lane from previous and gotten it. She is not where she wants to be right now. It's still very risky for the Spectre.
Yeah, I was actually watching the Courier, and it was just inches away from the secret shop when she died, so very unfortunate. Obviously, the only reason why you'd want to buy the Radiance recipe now is you just want to reduce the amount of gold you lost. So he really values the recipe and decides to pick it up. And yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I was very surprised why you wouldn't grab the Relic at the enemy secret shop, because we saw her up there with 4k gold. There was no reason why you shouldn't have had it, unless they wanted to hide the Relic. Although honestly, you just have to expect, if a Spectre doesn't have anything right now, you just have to assume it's going to be a Radiance anyway.
Yeah, Relic is not worth hiding. You hide a Blink Dagger, you hide a BKB, because those items can actually win you a fight, but Relic, that's just a stepping stone item. Like, it's the Radiance that is the real threatening item, and even then, like, hiding a Radiance, come on, like, it's not going to do anything in the grand scheme of things. So Spectre's right back on the top lane now, has to get additional bits of farm, but at the same time, the rotations are coming in. This purchase of the recipe might end up fighting over there. They're going to find Goretz first. He has the mech, but I don't think he's going to get a chance to use it. He will, but now KS is stuck. He has a backup from Iceberg. Great Static Storm. No, it's actually not enough. The Plasma Field isn't up in time. They do get the kill on the Lena and Bignum shortly after. Iceberg going to grab a double. Cheshire on the run. Axmo has a blink. He'll get out of there just fine. Cheshire though, needs to snowball through everybody or find angle to TP. There is enough damage here from Iceberg. Grabs a triple kill. And suddenly for Power Rangers, they just dove way too deep. If they have, Acma over towards mid lane, gonna get hit with a Sonic Wave, not a Sonic Wave, Echo Slam rather. And Shaker gonna just grab a kill as Queen of Pain walks in melee range of the Shaker. Generally not a good idea. That's his Blink Dagger right there. That's a huge kill for CIS Rejects. They're letting Tron farm, yes. But Spectre almost has that completed Radiance. Now with the Blink Dagger on Shaker, he got it a lot sooner than he really should have.
That was so huge for CIS Rejects. I feel like that disaster for Power Rangers just cost them, not the game, but it just cost them the lead. And you look at their heroes, yes, it should be pretty easy to attain a lead, but when you give it away like that, you have to take into consideration, okay, what heroes got that gold? You gave it to a Spectre that was within range, did not die. You gave it to a Razor that was within proximity. You gave it to a Disruptor, and you also gave gold to an Earthshaker who wasn't in the middle of the fight. It just got a random Echo on a Queen of Pain. So all of a sudden, we're going to be seeing a whole bunch of items appear on the map, and the big one is Earthshaker's Blink Dagger, honestly, because that means that they're going to have a way of counter-initiating, and as long as Fly is not within range of anything, he should be fine. But oh, Iceberg, you're not that tanky, my friend. Ugh.
You thought it was just Bignum. He was very, very wrong, and now the tower is going to be denied. That's the third tower to be denied in this game. Lots of denied gold across the map, but as you said, even though Razor dies there, it kind of sucks. He's going to bulk up. He's got the Sanjo ready. He's got the drums, S and Y just to stones throw away, and the Spectre only needs a couple more CS with the Courier already over the Secret Shop. Radiance will be completed very shortly by KS, and it now will be done. There we go. It's a 19-minute Radiance Relic. That's actually not a terrible timing for her, having gone for Power Treads first, but yeah, the Blink Dagger on Shaker, this is a super early item. Always Wanna Fly didn't really do a ton in the early stage. He wasn't able to set up many kills. He tried on the Queen of Pain, but it's just not going to happen with just a Razor there. They need like a instant burst, like a Shadow Fiend if they're going to get that. But getting such a fast Blink Dagger opens up the door for CIS Rejects. I mentioned earlier the real advantageous time frame for Power Rangers, the first 20 minutes in the game, and the clock is hitting that very shortly. We can see CIS Rejects now actually do have the ability to fight back. They have the Vacuum Wall mechanism on the Darkseer, they have Static Storm up, they have Blink Echo Slam up, and they have a Spectre who's going to be farming away while at the same time more than happy to join the fight for pawns. CIS Rejects know their timings. They have all these items, they're going to go for some blood. And it's going to be into the enemy woods they're going to wander. And if anyone's going to get caught out, Anti-Mage may be able to escape. Tron is very defensively positioned. They see Cheshire Cat, however. He may be able to snowball out of this one. No, it doesn't look like it. Fisher's going to completely miss. But now he's going towards Iceberg. And there's no escape from this angle. He's going to try to book it, but gets vacuumed back. Blink stunt from Always Wanna Fly. That's a dead Tusk. Not a great kill for CIS Rejects, but it's a kill nonetheless.
And this is going to open up the bottom lane as well, so not having the Tusk there means that their main initiator is not going to be able to help them in that fight. So I feel like at the moment, Power Rangers, they're just going to give that bottom tower away. They say, hey, we don't have a Tusk that's going to be there with the shards and Snowball. Let's try and get something else. And they're looking at Fly in the top lane. Do they actually know he's here, though? They are in the top lane.
I don't think they do. He has a level 2 Echo Slam also. This is so much higher. He's going to jump for Tron. Echo Slam is there. Spectre haunting in. Tron blown up. The backup is there, but KS is going to jump right on top of Bignum. Ion Shell is up, and Bignum's going to cancel his TP. Try to lift and run. That's not going to work. And KS draws a double kill. This Shaker, man, after that Queen of Pain kill, everything came up for him. Like, level 2 Echo Slam is huge. Blink Dagger is even bigger, and that's a kill on the Anti-Mage. This is the guy with the most net worth in the game, and I think it was KS to actually get that, but now he's going to get silenced. Walrus punched as well. He'll get dropped to a Sonic Wave. Good retaliation kill there for Power Rangers, but losing that Anti-Mage is super costly.
Yeah, it really is. Now, the Orchid was just completed on Axmo, and we did just see the debut of that on that Spectre kill. But now that this is online, they have to make this Orchid work. Because considering this is the first item that the Queen of Pain has picked up, if it doesn't do what it's supposed to do for the next 5-10 minutes, then it's essentially a wasted item. It could have picked up a Aghanim Scepter and be constantly ganking every 40 minutes, pushing out the lane, just being, just doing Queen of Pain things. But considering you went for an Orchid, you have to be more proactive with those ganks. So we'll see in the next team fights, is this Orchid going to be worth it? Now we might see them try and go for something in that bottom lane Glorious. Just lifted up by Bignum here. We've got our Anti-Mage coming in to clear the creep wave, although there is a fissure in the backside, the vacuum, there's a wall as well, and it looks like these guys are going to be blown up. They don't get the Anti-Mage kill, but they do get the Rubik's as well as the tower, and Lena, Laguna wasn't enough on the Glorious, and on the backside we have Axmo trying to go after, and it looks like he might die. Oh, he gets denied by the Razor. Jump in by Flybush, couple to Axmo. Axmo looks like he gets blown up as well. Snowball going to be connecting onto, I'm not too sure who, because I've been lagging so much. And we've got Cheshire Cat trying to run away from the Razor, and looks like that stun from our anti-mage will be able to save the Tusk's life. And Iceberg is going to have to book it out of there, although unless he gets caught by these heroes, he's taking a lot of damage. Going to try and pop the lightning, but that's not enough. He dies as well. 3 for 2 trade. Bit of overextension there for CIS rejects.
But ultimately, the gold swing is still in their favor. They get 2 kills, they lose 2 heroes, but they kill off the Queen of Pain, and that's just a much bigger kill than any hero that they lost. Also, KS farming happily the entire time. Disruptor, I guess, doing the same, although not really sure to what end. A Glimmer Cape, supposedly, he was actually going for an Urn. But either way, they do go super deep. Always Want to Fly, man, is just making things happen with this Earthshaker. Now Blink Dagger and Force Staff being picked up. He's just going in every single time. He has level 3 Enchant Totem, yet he was still destroying the heroes of Power Rangers very, very easily. This is just a support Earthshaker, mind you. He's not supposed to be doing this much, but Always Want to Fly, it seems, whenever he's Shaker, whenever he's Rubik, just always performing, overperforming, in fact, for the CIS Reject side. The Spectre did have Haunt there, just didn't want to get involved, so yeah, KS is just going to play the slow roll. Is going to go for an Ultimate Orb item. Looks like that might be turned into Mana Style. It should be turned into Mana Style given the fact that she's up against an Orchid Queen of Pain, but that's going to be coming up pretty shortly, whereas for the Anti-Mage, he's going for the same, it looks like. But Spectre, though she may be behind the Anti-Mage in farm, I would say probably has a higher impact in the fights right now with the Radiance.
Yeah, that's the best thing about Spectre. Once you have the Radiance, you have team fight presence, and it means that you don't really have to put yourself out there. You could just pop the horn and that's it. You don't have to actually participate in the fight, whereas Anti-Mage, he has to make the decision, do I put myself at risk to help my team, or do I just back up and continue on farming and aim for that 5 to 6 slot status? And for him, he has to fight with his team, because they know that the Spectre's trying to contribute. So that means that all of a sudden Anti-Mage has to take some time out of his farming role. And, oh god, this could go horribly wrong or horribly right for either end. Now we'll see who jumps in each other first.
Shaker has his blink. And he's going to see them, although Haunt is going to give them perfect vision. J4 has the Glimmer. They get the glimpse back onto Cheshire Cat right now. So far, no one's dying, but J4's taking a hell of a beating right now. He's going to die to Iceberg and KS both. Can they actually catch up to anyone else? They do not have a glimpse. They are pretty fast with the SNY. They're going to see Cheshire Cat. They catch him with the dagger. Fail to lift the Rubik, but they kill him off anyway. Now Axmo stuck in the field. He's going to try to go for Always Want to Fly. Get the silence off so he doesn't die to the Echo Slam, but he's going to die regardless to the vacuum with the Darkseer. That's a 3-0. And for CS Rejects, they use the Haunt, yes, but they still hold on to their Echo Slam, which means the fight can continue if needed.
That was such a close play there by Axmo. He was going to throw the Sonic Wave at the Earthshaker. He hesitated at the last minute, and then he just got stun locked and silenced and kept in place, and he just got shut down. Oh, this is so tragic for Power Rangers. They went for a draft with 4 strong heroes that were supposed to control the game for, as we said, the 20-minute mark. 20-minute mark passed. CIS Rejects managed to get their footing, get some big items, have not just items and gold lead, but also an EXP lead. When you were talking about the Earthshaker previously, he was level 13. He was on the same level as the Queen of Pain, but there is going to be left onto by the Rubik. He actually doesn't get caught by Fly. He will be caught in the end. Now KS, he's just going to try and chase after Bignum, although blinking by the Anti-Mage. He has a Manta Style, actually going to chase right after a Fly. But tries to go for a TP, goes for the Echo instead. Bignum's going to get picked off there by KS, and KS, even though he has the Radiance, doesn't really want to fight up against this Anti-Mage. He won't mind chasing, but he does not want to fight him hand-to-hand because he will have his mana burnt. Now we do have Cheshire Cat coming in. Now this could be huge if they can get the Spec to kill KS. Going to try and make a getaway. He's not very fast. He's going to try and go for the dagger over the... Oh, she gets over it! Oh my god, he's actually still alive in KS. He's going to try and make a getaway. He's got no TP for 23 seconds. He should die here. Gets blinked on top of by our Anti-Mage. That's a huge kill. So in the backside, we got Axmo. Oh my god, just gets blown up. Everything's random. Bansword being jumped on. By the Anti-Mage. Manta Style actually off cooldown. This is OP. Gonna be blinking out of there. He is absolutely fine. No lockdown available by CIS Rejects. 2-4-3.
It's a great trade there for Power Rangers. They kill off the Spectre, who is just on the receiving end of a Tusk, and there's not much you can do about that. Now J4 looking for an LSA, misses it. Doris looking with the snowball, it follows him. Dragon Slave through, and Iceberg's now in 1v3. He's going to take a Laguna to the dome, has half HP right now. He's going to try to kill off J4. The ultimate will get it. Random Queen of Pain illusion coming in a little bit too late, but yeah, it's going to be now 5 kills total actually for Power Rangers after all said and done. That Razor kill at the tail end of it was a real big one. As tanky as he is, going up against that many heroes, just not going to happen. And it is going to be Power Rangers to get a couple of kills, mostly because Tron was in that fight, but it wasn't really a full-scale fight. He was able to jump on one target, kill it off, jump to the next target, kill him off, then just continue onwards in that fashion. If Anti-Mage is in the full fight with spells flying everywhere, with the vacuum wall, with the Earthshaker being able to actually stun the Anti-Mage, that fight does not go well for Tron. But because it's such a series of small-scale engagements, the Anti-Mage with his mobility and damage output at this stage, being level 19, is just going to carry it through. He's going to slide right into the Roach Pit right now, but over towards the mid lane, we can jump in towards those who want to fly. Gets the Force Staff out, but the Scream does follow him. That'll bring down the Shaker. And Anti-Mage is still just quietly in the Roach Pit. No one checking it out just yet from CIS Rejects, though they're pinging it. Is that orange to ping it or brown to ping it? I'm not quite sure. Things are all the same color, it seems, but now they see Axmo walking in. They see Cheshire Cat walking in. Is it time for big plays? They get the Dagger Vision. Tron not too healthy right now, but the Roshan also not healthy. Is going to fall. Go up the Aegis to Tron. Goret's going to jump right in. Vacuum Wall onto 3. Haunt is there as well. Tron will lose his Aegis immediately. Glimpse back right now onto someone, but it's actually going to be dodged, I think, by the Snowball. Goret's taking a lot of damage here from Cheshire Cat. He will ultimately fall, however. Chaos now pops his own man style. They're going to try to go for Tron, who's losing his damage to Iceberg, who's gotten into this fight, is doing a lot of damage with the LSA Laguna Blade. He's going to drop also. Spectre, the only survivor, as Chaos now stuck in the Roach Pit, is going to dagger his way out. There's a blink up on Anti-Mage in 1 second. Is he going to aggress correctly? He kind of does. I don't think he sees the Spectre, though, so he's going to have to bail out. CS Rejects take another bad fight. And actually, it's a 3 for 3. They do take out the Aegis, but at least Spectre survives for them. That could have gone a lot worse.
That was very lucky, actually, for Power Rangers, just because the Anti-Mage, he popped his Manta style right under the wall, and obviously what happens if anything is going to be under that wall, it does a ton of damage, and that's literally how the Anti-Mage blew up. He just blew himself up under the wall, pops the Aegis. They're very lucky they had the Aegis, honestly. If they didn't have that, that could have gone in the other direction, honestly. So it's still a wasted Aegis. 3 for 3 trade, it's okay for CIS Rejects. But the game is still equalized, and yes, you have a Spectre going up against an Anti-Mage. Not the best, not really the best for your Spectre, because Anti-Mage is much stronger when the Spectre has mana. But in the late game scenario, who would you honestly think comes out on top when these two heroes are 6 slot?
I mean, it really depends on how the fight pans out. In a duel, Tron is going to win. But in a team fight scenario, Spectre is going to do a lot more for the CIS Rejects team, as far as just damage output is concerned, than the Anti-Mage is, simply because she has the Haunt, she has the sticking power. So it really does depend on how that actually comes to be. If the Anti-Mage is able to find Spectre in a 1v1, it's Anti-Mage all the way. Alternatively, well, I mean, he does have the BKB now, but if he gets Blink echoed upon and he's just controlled for that much longer, can't actually get the BKB off and can't do damage, obviously Spectre is not going to run into those problems if she does actually save her Haunt and use Reality correctly. It could just as easily go the other way. So it's, for the most part, a toss-up, but the BKB on Anti-Mage is actually a huge pickup right now. They don't really have that much physical damage, CIS Rejects. They've been relying on their spells for the most part, and Razor cannot easily steal damage from an Anti-Mage. It'll also crucially protect him from the Static Storm. Like, if the Static Storm goes down, he just BKBs and fights his way through that. They're going to smoke up, run to Axmo. Axmo did not see them, I don't think. Probably just no angle for that, but is going to blow the smoke regardless. And now they're looking up towards top where Iceberg is the target. Iceberg is going to book it out of there. He'll be fine. Yeah,
you take a look at the map though, and it's on Power Rangers side. You have to think, hey, if no one's farming this, obviously they're going to be trying to go for a gank for us now. Anti-Mage can be farming away. Now let's see who actually runs into Iceberg. Yeah, he is still at the camp. Oh, just off the mark. Well, Lena's going to see him in the meantime. And are they going to change their target? They're thinking about it. They were going to go mid, they changed their mind, they want to go up top, they don't have vision, but the Anti-Mage, it looks like he's going to be the one to be acting as bait now. Goret, he sees Cheshire Cat, blinks forward, goes for the vacuum, no wall as it yet, just runs into a BKB Anti-Mage. He looks at this and he's saying, okay, hell no, I'm not popping my ultimate here. Anti-Mage on the high ground. Now what's actually happening here? Looks like Anti-Mage is creating, oh, Echo Surge, he blinks into that. Anti-Mage, what a mistake. 3 heroes are dead. Now we have Bignum going to be taken down, and Queen of Pain, the only survivor. What the hell happened? Was that just a mistake by the Anti-Mage to blink down onto the low ground like that?
It was 2 mistakes. Like, you don't blink up to the high ground there as Anti-Mage in the first place. That in of itself was a bad move. It allows CIS Rejects to essentially take, for a couple of seconds, a 5v4, and in that time they were able to bring down the Tusk and do a lot of damage to everyone else, granted. But then blinking down to the Echo Slam is just the cherry on the bad tasting cake for the anti-mage. That's like CS Rejects. I mean, they played that one really roughly. Like, they blinked in, tried to vacuum wall the anti-mage, and he just popped the BKB, so vacuum actually did nothing. But because the anti-mage's BKB usage, and then he blinks up to the high ground, he's sitting up there, taking no magic damage, yes, but also burning through his 10 seconds very quickly while doing no damage. So even though that was a rough fight for CIS Rejects, it was just a mistaken fight there from Power Rangers. They could have easily avoided that without that blink up to the high ground, or if the anti-mage was able to just BKB and fight. But because CIS Rejects have that flexibility of initiation, given their blink daggers, given their haunt, they're able to take that victory pretty cleanly and kill off the anti-mage in the process. That's also, as I said before, 10-second BKB charge down. CS Rejects somehow take that fight. I don't think they can count on that to happen every single time, so they have to make sure not to get too comfortable in this game. But hey, it's a one fight. That's going to give Spectre the majority of her heart.
Yeah, and also, you don't want to be wasting charges like that on your BKB, because this item, it is tied to your character, so it doesn't matter if you buy a new BKB. It's still going to be stuck at 5 seconds if you've used it that much. So once that BKB runs out, would the anti-mage just have to transition into going for possibly a heart to tank up instead of trying to go for the magic immunity? Because yeah, it gives you a little bit of strength, but I feel like as the game goes later and later, maybe he'll just be better off if he goes for a straight heart once the BKB is down to the 5 seconds.
I don't know, it's kind of close because, again, the issue here is with the Static Storm. If he's gonna get hit with that silence, and if he draws out the Static Storm and he's just stuck in there, unable to use that BKB to walk out, then he's screwed. They're gonna snowball into Iceberg, actually drop the Razor super quickly. He's gonna pop his own BKB. That also does nothing. I guess it is even trades. Axmo is gonna put his up as well, but that Razor just did not stand a chance there. Suddenly 1,000,000 euros, and now the tower may just fall. Tron is still doing a lot of damage if he's able to get, his right clicks out, and it'll definitely be enough to kill off this tower. Spectre is ready to go. The rest of the CIS Rejects side, I'm not sure if they are. They have all the mobility they want in the Shaker, plus he's level 16, which is a disgusting amount of levels on Always Wanna Fly, but there's no creep wave here, so the Echo Slam is kind of weak. They're gonna jump in, stun Tron once, Force Staff out from Always Wanna Fly. Pretty good play there from the Shaker, getting damage onto Tron while taking none. Now the wall drops. They're just trying to hold high ground. And Anti-Mage's Illusion actually does quite a bit of damage. Now the Heart is ready. Always Wanna Fly, blink and Echo Slam onto Tron. Vacuum back as well as the Haunt. Tron will fall first. No BKB is available. They're onto Bignum now. He's going to glimmer himself out of here, but KS still has the Reality and Haunt working. He's going to jump right for J4. Gets hit with the LSA. No, dodges it with the Manta Style. Actually, great plays by KS. Now they're onto Bignum, who's tracked down by the Thunderstrike. Gort's going to blink right in front of him. There's no escape here for the Rubik. He'll fall as well. For CIS Rejects, they were just waiting for that and setting it up. They had the wall already down. They had the creep wave incoming and Always Wanna Fly. He was ready to go. And for Anti-Mage, I think he was thinking that the Spell Shield would keep him alive through that, but there's just way too much damage once KS pulls that Haunt trigger. Another great fight for CIS Rejects.
Just not enough respect, honestly, because you look at CIS Rejects and they have so much team fighting potential. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it doesn't matter if you have a BKB, a Lincoln Sphere, a Lotus Orb. It really doesn't matter what defensive item you have. You still have to respect your opponents, and there is a chance that if they catch you off guard, they're just going to completely blow you up. So that's what happened with the Anti-Mage, as we saw. Like he saw the wall, saw the vacuum, he said, "Hey, this is no big deal. I'm only taking a little bit of damage." No, you get vacuumed in again, then you get stunned up by the Earthshaker, and then you get blown up. And now, what kind of a scenario are you in? The high ground push that your team was supposed to execute is now being done against you. Although, the good thing is that it's not really forcing out the Anti-Mage buyback, which would have been ideal for CIS Rejects, because it would have delayed his next item. But instead, they're going to back up, surprisingly enough. Does this mean that for CIS Rejects, they're just putting everything in the late game basket?
I mean, the Anti-Mage was going to be up soon enough, and for Power Rangers, they could have still fought. For CS Rejects, though they did have everyone alive, it was going to be a 4v4 because KS didn't have Haunt. If the Spectre did have Haunt, you could bet they would be still knocking at the front door, but no Haunt means no fight for CS Rejects. They need that damage output from that ultimate, so I think that is the right call right now. Just wait for the Spectre to get that additional item, wait for her to get her ultimate back up, and it is, by the way, up. Yeah, Tron is back up as well, but man, if Shaker can keep performing like that, Anti-Mage is not a big problem. Shaker's actually going to go for, is that a Void Stone? It was a Void Stone, but he sold it, I think. But more importantly, perhaps, Vangscore is going to go for an Aghanim Scepter of his own. If he's able to get that one out, Anti-Mage is completely screwed once he gets put into that Static Storm. Same thing with Queen of Pain. It's going to be rough times for the Power Ranger side if the Disruptor is able to pick this one up quickly. But for CS Rejects, they're fine just chilling for a little while longer. Anti-Mage is lead over the Spectre is slowly closing.
So now that Power Rangers has seen some of these team fights happen badly, what would you think their game plan would have to be? Do they have to start transitioning into smokes, going for pickoffs, and potentially moving into rat Dota? Because they try and go for these 5-on-5 team fights or even 4-on-5 team fights, and they still come out in a complete and utter mess because they just don't have the counter initiation that CIS rejects do.
I think, you know, trying to go for the ganks is definitely what they should be doing right now. Involve everyone. Like, Tron's damage output is needed. You know that if you smoke up and run into one hero, it can very easily be the Earthshaker and Spectre to get in there as well with Blink Dagger and Haunt. Darkseer can also do it, but we have CS Redux gonna pull the trigger first. He's gonna run to Axmo. Echo Slam gonna completely whip, actually stolen now by the Rubik. Sonic Wave's gonna fly through too. Haunt is now deployed. And Spectre's gonna jump straight toward ChedgerCat. ChedgerCat caught in a corner, fissured up as well, will fall. Static Storm is deployed. Echo Slam now as well. It doesn't do anything, so 2 nullified Echo Slams. But now Tron's gonna try to duel up against Iceberg. Is failing that duel. BKB's popped in the Razor. Gonna go straight for J4 with Chaos right on top of Lena as well. They get glimpsed back onto Tron, right back into a wall. He'll blink out it, but I think the Thunderstrike might be lethal. Little the vacuum will be it. That's 90 seconds on the sideline. ChedgerCat also somehow still alive. Did he buy back? No, he didn't. He just slipped out of there somehow. But for CIS Rejects, they lose the Shaker. They gain 3 kills, including the Anti-Mage. Spectre is still at full HP because of Heart of Tarrasque, and they're actually not going to try to push. Okay, this one is kind of surprising. They have a full health Spectre, but it looks like they're going to go for Roshan instead. Okay, that's fine. That was a huge fight for the CIS Reject side, even though they completely botched the Echo Slam. That was not how you want to start a fight.
Yeah, but still, you look at this and you're fighting without all your ultimates. CIS Rejects are going to be looking at themselves and thinking, hey, guys, we've got this in the basket. Even though we have some of these spells that aren't landing, the rest of the team fight is a piece of cake. We've got superior damage output, we've got superior late. They don't really think superior late game, but you could think of it like that. They just have the tools to deal with Power Rangers, and they also have a little bit of mobility themselves. You have a Spectre that's going to be able to just go around all over the place with the Spectral Dagger. You have a Razor that, I don't want to say he doesn't die, but he just sits in the middle of the fight, soaking up all this damage and causing havoc with Eye of the Storm. Then you have an Earthshaker that can literally come out of nowhere with his Blink Dagger. Then you also have to worry about a Static Storm, plus a Glimpse if you're trying to run away. So for Power Rangers, if they get into a fight, they have to commit. They can try and run away, but they're just going to be picked off.
They have to pop their BKBs to run away, and you never really want to be doing that. The Anti-Mage needs the health item so desperately right now. Like, his BKB is still at 8 seconds, hasn't really been used effectively in this game, Tron. If he's able to pop the BKB and sit and fight and, you know, duel up against a Razor, yeah, he's good to go, but not when Iceberg steals that much damage. Iceberg now with the Aghanim Scepter is going to be lowering the armor as well. ChedgerCat's still on the hunt right now with the Shadow Blade and might run into Vang Score. That might be a free pickoff for the Tusk, although it seems like he's not going to make that play. I think it's a good read. KS is still farming it up and does have the Haunt available. But for CIS Rejects, even with this Aegis on Iceberg, breaking up high ground, even with the Aghanims on the Razor, is not exactly going to be the easiest feat. Sonic Wave is not Aghanim, so it does have a pretty long cooldown, but the explosiveness of an Aghanim Scepter Laguna Blade, Anti-Mage's ability to just jump in, kill off someone immediately, is definitely a threat that CIS Rejects cannot take lightly. They have to be very careful about how they proceed. They may just back up, give Power Rangers some more space, and try to lure them out of their base, then get the pick off, then go for high ground.
Yeah, that would be the ideal situation, honestly, but for Power Rangers, every time they leave the base, you look at them and they're so afraid. They're having to move as a 4 to 5 man.
Get obliterated. Now the Haunt is going to come in. This is a 4v5 fight. Gord's going to jump right in with the vacuum wall. Doesn't really connect onto too much. Now Xanavoid is going to take him out. Iceberg's still doing a lot of damage. Off ChedgerCat KS is also doing a lot. They'll force the blink out from both Tron and Axmo. They can blink back onto Tron, right back into the Spectre's clutches. Static Storm is there. Plasma Field a little bit late, however. The Laguna Blade is going to be thrown towards the Spectre. Does pretty much nothing, but return damage towards Bignum. He's going to deploy his still held Echo Slam. Again, to not much effect, as KS does grab an unstoppable spree. Queen of Pain Anti-Mage, though, crucially surviving and is a 2 for 2. Iceberg still has his Aegis, however, with no Eye of the Storm, I don't really know if this is what they want to be doing right now. They're thinking about going for it. They'll very quickly realize this is a bad idea. Again, no Haunt equals no fight, full health Spectre or not. And for CIS Rejects, that actually went really well for them, considering the fact they opened up that fight by losing their Shaker.
Yeah, it really was. And yeah, as you said, I really like the decision that CIS Rejects are doing right now, just because they don't have all the stuff that they need to go high ground, and it's also the best 3 heroes that Power Rangers could have alive. You have all the range damage dealers, plus the Anti-Mage to go into the front lines, and there's no one to really control the Anti-Mage aside from Disruptor, but when you don't have Static Storm, what are you really going to do to keep him in place? There's no Abyssal, there's no Bash, there is a Diffusal Blade, but that's not going to cut it when it comes to keeping an Anti-Mage in place. He had to put his Blats... No, I saw him put the Blats on the Courier, so I'm not too sure what he did with that. But he's getting close towards that the 6 slot mark. He has his Abyssal. Did he use it that fight, or did he just pick it up?
I think he just picked it up, so no Abyssal yet. Or no Abyssal in the last fight, but he has it now, and just using that against the Spectre and killing off the Spectre is really damn hard right now with the Dispersion, 21 armor. No evasion just yet, but I'm pretty sure KS is going to set his sights on a Butterfly soon. The Anti-Mage is seemingly the only hero that's doing a significant amount of damage. Like, this is a decent build for the Queen of Pain, the Orca, the Shivas. It's very nice to survive in those fights. It provides a little bit of mixed utility there as well, but she needs to be doing a little bit more damage, I feel, because no one else is really stepping up to that role. Lina can with the level 3 Aghanims, but she used that on the Spectre, and Spectre took no damage from that. Like, she barely just reacted at all, if she did. Always want to fly. He's stuck in the trees, and Cheshire Cat's hunting while invis. Don't move, Shaker. Oh
Stay
no,
in the trees.
Cheshire Cat's gonna find him. There it is, 1v1. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Always want to fly. He has Enchant Totem, has Yule Scepter. He has no TP, however, so I think this is a fight that he doesn't want to be in, but he's forced into anyway. Here comes the Haunt in, as well as Iceberg. KS is going to deploy the Manta Style now. There's so many illusions now, more with the wall being used. Tron's going to get the Mana Void onto the Darkseer, do a lot of damage to KS and Iceberg, but not nearly enough to drop them low to lethal range. Glimpse back onto Tron right now, stuck in the Static Storm here, ready to use BKB, and Tron's going to die. Tron for any given hero is automatically not a good trade for Power Rangers, especially the heroes that did fall. KS and Iceberg still kicking at very comfortable amounts of HP. They may not have their Aegis for this push. It may time out, but still Spectre has 5,000 gold and is pushing at full HP.
This is going to have to be a buyback from the Anti-Mage. Tron just cannot sit in the fountain watching this fight. He says, okay, we have to go for this this defense. And they're not going to have the tusk, but they will have numbers advantage. Although, honestly, this should be okay. But you still don't want the buyback used on the Anti-Mage, so there is going to be a ward put on the high ground by Vanscore. They will get rid of it immediately, so Power Rangers, they were ready for that. They said, hey, vision is key for a Disruptor, so if he doesn't have the vision, then it's huge. But what? They're backing up.
I think this might be a little bit too defensive here from CIS Rejects. Like, yeah, they're missing their Shaker and their Darkseer, but I think the fear is we kind of want to force out the Anti-Mage's buyback. But at the same time, Anti-Mage can join the fight so quickly with the buyback that we can't leave if he does actually buy out. So it will be a 4v3 scenario up against an Anti-Mage. And I think that is, again, a little bit more on the safer side than I would like. But I think you can at least argue that that's the safest move. That's the, playing around the Anti-Mage's buyback just a little bit more. Because Spectre is getting to that 6 slotted status. We already see how much damage she's doing in that fight and how little damage she's taken. Like, she just pops Manta Style, has the Haunt Illusions fly around everywhere. And there's actually no damage source from Power Rangers that can actually bring her down effectively if she's the one haunting in. They do, however, have enough damage to kill up Iceberg. And they will not pull that trigger just yet. The Haunt is going to be up in just another 2 seconds. But for CIS Rejects, they're just getting win after win after win. They're getting more and more of a cold lead. They really are not in a ton of rush to go up high ground, since they are closing on the Aghanim Scepter on Vangscore as well. But sooner or later, they're going to have to take a much better fight and actually have enough to push up the high ground and handle the Anti-Mage even if he does buy back.
Yeah, and also the worst case scenario, what if CIS Rejects get slowly picked off by Power Rangers? They are not being very overconfident, which is good. You look at the buyback status, there are quite a few available. Actually, never mind. I thought there'll be a lot more, but it looks like these buybacks are very pricey. So we've got 2 buybacks available on the Radiant. So you look at the scenario, if Power Rangers can kill CIS Rejects, they can go high ground. And they have a lot of pushing potential in just the Anti-Mage alone.
Oh,
Plus
Blink
he has
Echo.
his teammates. Oh god. Rest in
Gets
peace,
the Orchid
Lina.
off. Queen of Pain a little bit late, however. That is Echo Slam being used to crush the Lina. She has no buyback now. And this is something that CIS Rejects can push into. They would like KS to farm up buyback. I don't think he'll have enough time to do that, however. Yeah, you have no Echo Slam, but the enemy team has no Lina. That's Laguna Blade down the fuse. They're going to jump in towards Axmo. The chain stun. Is it good enough? She's going to pop her BKB. Still stuck against the wall. And Wall's actually stolen now by Bignum. Doesn't have enough mana to cast it, but they force out the BKB of Axmo. While using the wall, this is a lot of free damage. KS is going to reality into this fight. Fortification may hold this, but still 30 seconds in a 5v4 scenario. And the wall is going to hold up for a great portion of this. If they jump in, they may just get vacuum bet in. The wall is going to drop onto KS right now, but the Static Storm drops onto 2. BKBs are up, but Cheshire Cat's stuck in the middle of everything. He'll fall first. Tron going to try to kill off Iceberg, but he's the tankiest target. He has the Assault Cuirass. He doesn't care about that. Tron's going to get now glimpsed back into his own wall, vacuum back closer to the enemy wall, and he will fall, forced out the buyback. But the Raxes have already fallen. They're very, very quickly fallen, rather. Where is this anti-mage? He's a little bit late to the party. Spectre's Illusion almost gonna kill up. Always want to fly. Tron will swoop in, grab the kill on the Shaker. But everyone else from CIS Rejects, they're free and clear. Now with a Rax to their advantage, that's the set that they were looking for, and that is a huge one. That's going to give them their Aghanim Scepter on the Disruptor, so next time, the Anti-Mage is not going to be able to get his BKB off. They have a Butterfly also being built up on the Razor, completed on the Spectre, and Sheepstick is up on the Darkseer. That was a monstrous fight, and one that Power Rangers could not afford to lose, but at the same time, that was a 5v4.
Illusion.
God, they're getting so far behind for items. I feel like at this point, it's almost come to the point of no return. If Power Rangers loses one more fight, that's it. They've only got buyback on a Queen of Pain, and yeah, Axmo is supposedly a core, but you just look at his impact in these fights. What has he really been providing in the fight apart from a Shivas, a Silence, and a Sonic Wave? And they're going to try and go for a jump though. Can they get Iceberg? Oh, they do get him. Now, that's one hero off the map, but you still have to deal with the Darkseer and the Spectre. And Wall is available, blink forward by Axmo, not able to clip any of those heroes, unfortunately. So, well, all of a sudden, I think this is Power Rangers' way of saying, guys, this is our last-ditch effort to try and win the game. Will this work out, though?
Baker's so close to his Blink Dagger, to his Echo Slam, but he's just not responding right now. KS is going to get lifted in. They kill off the melee racks, but who cares? It's one set of racks versus just half set. And now, Always Want to Fly is going to skate forward, looking for someone. He's going to catch Bignum with a fissure. Goretz is going to lift him up. They can keep him from casting the Static Storm. That'll be huge. He gets it off, but I don't think he's escaping here. He's glimmered, but yeah, they'll follow him down and kill him off afterwards. Rubik is going to die in the retreat. And for CIS Rejects, they could have made that defense if they decided to pull a buyback trigger on Always Want to Fly. Deciding not to do that, I think, is the correct decision, because now we are in the exact same scenarios we were just in, where Power Rangers have one man down. J4, the Shadow Blade, looking for an opportunity right now. I don't think that's really the one that he wants to go towards. For the Razor not to have buyback, though, that's really costly and almost was enough to bring Power Rangers back into this game, at least structurally. But he will have that soon enough, and Spectre should also be saving for hers. In fact, Spectre is almost completely 6-slotted. You can do some ridiculous things with Refresher Orb. I would like to see that as Chaos's next item, mixing the travels there as well, but buyback, no matter what, needs to be held by her, because she's actually going to get rotated upon by Cheshire Cat right now. Goretz is here, plus Always Want to Fly. They have actually no True Sight. There's a snowball in towards Goretz. Jump in from the Anti-Mage right now. Haunt is going to be deployed. Goretz is going to force that out of there. Sonic Wave is going to deploy onto only KS right now. KS taking a lot of damage. Blink Echo Slam onto Tron. They hex him up as well. Vacuum Wall. Static Storm is going to actually cut them off, and Axmo's in the middle of everything. Will fall with the Anti-Mage as well. That's Anti-Mage down, and that should just be game. J4 is putting up a hell of a fight, but he's not able to get any of these kills. That's beyond godlike speed for KS. They're going to slide right into the Roche pit, actually. They should be able to bring him down, grab the Aegis Cheese, and then go for a secondary set of Raxes, because they know that Anti-Mage is dead.
Honestly, CIS Rejects, they could just go mid lane and just take T4s. There are creeps in Power Rangers base, but they're really playing safe. Oh, what? Did you just see Roche come back, hit them once, and I think that's just me.
No,
Reborn
that was
things.
just you.
Just Reborn things. I saw Roshan come back alive and hit them once, and then Sack just give away his cheese and saying, "Here, take it. I don't care anymore. I'm dead anyway."
Wow, they didn't even hold on to the cheese. They just chowed down and they're just going. Just an Aegis Roshan essentially for CIS Rejects. But 70 seconds of pushing is a lot. And I mean, they should be able to get into the base by the time Tusk and Lena get back up. Who maybe will be able to get a kill. Queen of Pain will probably be forced to buy out right now, because waiting for another 20, that's a hard sell. But I don't know if all those heroes being alive is actually going to help out enough, because they are going to go for both lanes consecutively at the same time. And that's going to be mid taken in its entirety. Bottom lane still alive, but Iceberg is closing in. That's Megas. And if you lose one fight with no Anti-Mage, you're just dead. And it seems like Power Rangers now are in that scenario. They're going to get the Cheshire Cat Tusk glimpsed out of that field. Not a big deal. KS is taking all the damage in the world. Laguna Blade still seems like he's at a pretty healthy amount of HP. It's almost like that never happened. Iceberg gonna casually walk into the fountain, get a kill on the Rubik, and then walk out, still at half HP. This game is all but over. CIS Rejects, they endure the early game and they take it late.
Can we give style points for Power Rangers for not calling the GG earlier? Because a lot of people would have looked at that and they would have just said GG well played, that's it. But they just kind of kept the game going for a little bit longer. I want to give them some brownie points. Just they're probably hoping.
Not style points. I saved those for Chaos Knight picks.
Chaos Knight.
And like the Power Rangers draft was good, but it wasn't stylish. You know what I'm saying?
No.
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 You need to do more than that to impress me with your draft. But guys, this is gonna be game 1 in the books. CIS Rejects going to take it in a long slog fest against Power Rangers. PR put up a pretty decent showing, not without their fair share of mistakes. Probably not enough aggression early on is what costed them this game, but we're going to be moving on to game 2. This is a 2-game set. I'm Mikelorus, been joined by Daneliecasts, and we'll be right back in just a little bit.